The Business Playbook.
Welcome to the Business Playbook. This is the first time that we've done a studio version of the playbook, and we're going to do a lot more. The reason that we're doing it right now, today, is because our guest is in the country for a couple of days, and we absolutely had to get him on while he was here. Please welcome Calum White from White & Co. Dubai. From Dubai, as you can tell by what he's wearing, as he's so wrapped up in this beautiful suite that we've been given by Tiger Lily, part of the Montpellier Group. If you've not already watched it, the podcast that we've done with David Wither, who's the founder of the Montpellier Group, who own Tiger Lily, is available on YouTube now. Go and have a look at that. But first, welcome Calum White.
Thanks so much, Jack. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Tiger Lily, great. Already had a few drinks.
Good. That's what we want. That is what we want. Normally we do this live with a studio audience, and we have a networking event that we wrap around it. But obviously, because we're short of time with you, we thought we'll get them in the studio. But we have got a couple of people here, some exclusive behind the scenes guests and pals of yours and pals of mine who are here to watch it as well. So we'll open the floor to some questions at the end.
Brilliant.
We're going to start off. We always start off the podcast in the same kind of format. Everyone we've spoken to and everyone that I speak to in business is winging it, completely winging it. But you went to Dubai 9 years ago. You've now set up White & Co. You've got 385 staff, 300 brokers. You've done 108 million dirhams turnover last year, which is 23 million pounds. You have various other businesses. You've got a holiday homes business, you've got a property management business, you've got a construction company, you've got a recruitment company, you've got a marketing company, and you've got a hair salon. Have you got your shit together?
I think I just get bored. That's what it sounds like. No, I'll be honest. I always knew it was going to happen. I didn't know what scale we'd get to, and I didn't know how quickly it would happen. But from the moment that I landed there, I seen the quality of service. I seen things that were missing. I seen that there's a lot of things over there that you can get away with, and I will use the term "get away with" that you can't get away with in the UK. Yep. And we'll obviously come on to that a bit further. But yeah, no, I knew it was always going to be that way. I just didn't know how long it would take, and it's been a really good journey. But we've not even scratched the surface. Most of those businesses you just mentioned are in their first year. My main business, which is the real estate business, that's now 3 years and 3 months old. But to be sitting with the level of staff that we've got, the turnover and all those other things that, I'm never lucky, but always grateful. We've got a lot of good people there that help that come together. So yeah, it's really good.
Amazing. When you said you've always known that it's going to be that way, right? So I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but you and I met when we were 8 years old.
Oh God, and I had a ponytail.
You had a ponytail. Do you think that you had? Do you think you knew back then that you were going to do really well? Were you really ambitious at that stage? Because I want to take it right back to pre-Dubai. Because you worked in the property industry in the UK first. I
had a lot of odd jobs in the UK, and I was very disillusioned at them all. I am, and looking back now, it's probably not the right way to be. But I was a barista, and I once left that job. Walked out because they tried to tell me to clean the toilets. I was my last job that I was in the UK. I sent an all-staff email and walked out and then left and moved to Dubai. I've always had, it seems like a problem with authority, but I feel like I had more of a problem with people not doing what they said they were going to do. You know what I mean? Like, I always thought, I know how to do this better, and just because you are older than me or just because your title is this, doesn't mean I have to respect you. And that's something that, while I've been over there, the respect that I have, or the respect in the business, it's always earned. And it's something that I love about being over there. But yeah, I would say that
ever since I was right or wrong at that stage? When you were at that stage in your career, and that was, for want of a better word, your attitude. Yeah. Was that right or wrong at that stage? Do you think that you still think, actually, I done it like that, and I maybe shouldn't have conducted myself, but I was actually in the right?
I'm in the right, but I shouldn't have conducted myself that way. Cool. Well, 100% agree on that one. Yeah, okay, definitely. Cool. But what I'd say is, even going back to when I was much, much younger, I used to look at, and it's much more prominent now that we see, is entrepreneurs being judged on only schooling, which is maths, English, French, CDT, whatever else we do in the UK, you know what it's like. And really, how much of that have I used since I've left school? Nothing. But that's what these teachers all, talk down to you about. And you're going to be nothing, you're going to get nowhere. Not to me, but I'm saying that's the general.
No, what you mean.
You know what I mean? Right. And then those people end up going on to do fantastic things because you shouldn't be judged on that. So I would say I was always ambitious. I always knew I was going to go places. And I always thought I knew better, yeah.
Brilliant.
It's paid off.
Did you go to Liberton High School?
Holyrood.
Holyrood, right, okay. So we met, I was in primary 5.
Yeah.
We had a mutual friend who lived next door to you.
Yeah.
And he said, I was in primary 5, you'd have been in primary 3.
Yeah.
So you are, what, 8-year-old,
Yeah.
9-year-old?
Sounds
and
like
he says, come outside and we're going to go into the back garden and play with my mate Calum. And I went out and there's this wee guy with a ponytail running about playing football. You then went on to work to start a career in property.
Yeah.
And you said that you actually, Sean Nichol, who's in the room today, you reached out to Sean to get started in property. Was that your first job in property?
Yeah, it was my first job in property, and I'm very blessed that I found my niche, because a lot of people don't find their niche. I think there's people that could be amazing at things, they never go into that thing that's like going to, my personality trait now is property. I just love it so much. And when I speak to other people in the industry, even when they go on holiday, they spend half the time looking at the properties there. So when I met Sean, I've still got the message on Facebook. I wish I'd looked at them before this, but it was, hi, like I want a job at this place. Can you get me in? Can you get me in? Can you get me in? Sent over my CV, didn't hear anything back. I was then on the phone again, phoned the HR people to say, have you got my CV there? And they were like, actually, we've got a space today. Do you want to come in and interview? As soon as I done my interview, back onto Sean again. Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? Because I thought that was, the right way to be. It showed that you want it, Got the job from it. And it led on to me and my early interest in property. And I could see the money that gets made there. I just didn't think the UK was the place for it for me.
When you landed in Dubai, you started working through a couple of different brokerages in Dubai.
Yep.
And basically picking up the things that you did like, didn't like as you went.
That's exactly it.
You ended up at Positive Properties.
Yeah.
Did you launch Positive Properties or did you go into Positive Properties?
No, I joined Positive Properties and there was 10 staff. Right. By the time I left, there was 80. So I knew how to scale a business. Yep. I knew how it worked. It was just, unfortunately, myself and the other business partners disagreed on certain ways that the business should be run.
Taking money out every month, reinvesting.
Well, that's it. It's like, for me, it was all about reinvestment. But at the same time, when I was running Positive Properties, I was 26 years old. And those guys were a bit older, put it that way, so they might have thought, like, let's get some money out and it can go towards us, whereas for me, I was thinking, I'm going to be doing this a long time, let me get it reinvested. And that led to us, shaking hands, and I went on to do my own thing. I think that company's possibly still open, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Right, okay, so you don't keep an eye on that business, having been the managing partner there?
Not really, no. All the brokers that I know from there came with me to White & Co, or I've went on to other pastures.
So you decided that you were going to start White & Co.
Yeah.
And took how many people from?
Only 8.
Only 8, right?
Only
so you
8.
and 8 others?
Me and 8 others.
And you took a
16,000 square foot office.
Why?
Because I knew I could scale. As you've seen at the last business, and the problem was at the last business, we had to take one office, we renovated that, filled that one, then it was like, oh, we need another office, took a bigger office, renovated that, oh, we need another office. We'd moved 3 offices in a year.
One of my clients has done the very same thing, and it's just we're in one office, right, we've outgrown that one, we've moved to another one, and they've just went, actually, we're going to take a right big office that we know we're going to scale into.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's far too big for them.
Well,
so
that's the thing.
I'd say they're on the same kind of trajectory, and they've got the same kind of plans as you.
But that's good, and it's the thing is...
Prime Property Auctions, by the way. Check them out on Instagram.
You might want to say that again, I was talking over you.
Sorry. Prime Property Auctions, by the way, check them out on Instagram.
And like you said, same that's happening with Prime Property Auctions, we grew at such a rate that I knew we were going to fill that office. It was just the first couple of months were very scary because I'd poured all my income or all my savings into it. But with the good people there, it was they fixed it. They made it worthwhile.
You got your money back in 3 months?
3 months, yeah.
So first of all, we'll talk about the money. So that initial cash injection that you needed to take that leap came from one unbelievable deal.
One very large deal, which I did as at the company before. It was 18 units from a big developer, master developer in Dubai, through a sheikh's office, right place, right time, right people all involved, and it was 102 million dirham at 7% commission. It was a lot of leftover stock that no one had bought, and they wanted to buy it, and it was great.
So 7 million in fees.
7 million in fees, 70%.
You're at 70% of that?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And that was obviously what allowed me to catapult into going and opening the business, which...
So that's over £1 million in one deal? Over £1 million British pounds in one deal as commission for that deal?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay.
And that allowed us to then go and open this business, which was great. And
on that, is that... You said right place, right time. Is that luck?
I didn't say luck. I said right place, right time.
Right, okay. Please elaborate on that.
If I hadn't got a plane, went to Dubai and worked there for 6 years and made all the calls that I made and had the friends that I had in the network, that all led to this happening.
100%.
That's not
right,
luck.
okay.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
He didn't just call me and say, by the way, this is what.
That's what I mean. And that's why when you said right place, right time, I was trying to make sure that you weren't playing it down, rather than saying, "Oh, lucky Calum made $1 million quid," and then like that's definitely not my attitude towards it.
And I see that very often in the industry. Whenever a good broker smashes it and people get jealous, and I'm not talking about White & Co, it happens at all different companies. Oh, they just got lucky, and it's like people need to, especially in sales jobs, eliminate that from your vocabulary because it takes away all the hard work you've done to get there. That first 100 calls you did led you to this point. Every single action you did led you to that point. So I think definitely wasn't luck. It was all the actions that led there. Put it that way.
Now you've got 385 people in the business.
Yeah.
300 brokers.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that process. How do you go from 8 to what were you last year? 120.
Last year, by the end of the year was 180.
180.
Yeah.
Right. So talk to me about that process from 8 to 180.
Year one was throwing a lot at the wall and seeing what stuck.
Right.
Because we didn't have, when I first opened the company, just to be clear, we're going to offer 70%. We're going to have lots of incentives. It's a broker running a brokerage.
Yep.
I'm going to think about it from their perspective. Everyone's going to want to join. It's going to be so easy.
I'm going to jump in. So on the 70% thing, because people who, it's so alien to people who will be listening to this from the UK, that someone can bring in, a 10 grand deal, 7 grand of that's theirs.
Yeah.
3 grand of it's yours. But you're paying for the portals, the licenses, the admin, the fines, all the other things that come with that.
Yeah.
But you're paying 70% of every deal that comes in.
To top performers.
To your top performers. But they start on 50.
Yeah.
So it's 50 to 70, with your average being 60, that's right?
Yep, that's right.
And you're paying that out to them.
Yep.
Because when I hear 70% commission, I don't know, because it's so alien to like in the UK.
No, it's exactly what you hear, and it's like people try to go, but what about, but it's very simple. Whatever you bring in, you take home whatever your commission split is. If you're 50%, you get half of it. Imagine working at Lidl, going through all day, scanning 10,000 worth of messages, and then at the end of the day, they just went, yeah, you get 70% of that.
Right,
Doesn't happen.
No.
But in this job, because it's a sales job, there's no salary.
Yep.
People are out there, it's high performance sales. And if you do well, you said £10,000. I'm talking, I've seen people £100,000.
100%, definitely.
You know what I mean? So as much as that's where it needs to start, that's 70% of that goes right out the door. 70 grand in a day. Boom, there you go. And other deals like that. And it happens all over the market, not just at White & Co.
And you give us an example just when we were chatting downstairs about one of the brokers in your business.
Yeah, he did 3.2 million last November, and they get 70% of that. So first of all, and then because he was the top broker that month, he got an extra 10%. So his bonus in November was 10% of 3.2 million, 320,000 dirham. It's around about 72,000 pounds as a bonus.
In a month. And you're paying that regularly you are paying that.
Well, I'm paying that based on because he did that.
Aye, no, totally.
This is the thing, not to eliminate. It's not. I just pay that.
But is that a one-off? Or is
no, I mean
that
every single month that happens for 3 people. So the top leasing, top sales, and then the top commercial. Commercial properties, which are like offices.
Yep.
For anyone that doesn't know, offices, retail, anything like that. The top of each of those get 10%. The second top gets 5%, and the third top gets like a custom suit from Suited and Booted.
Right. Okay.
So good prizes.
Incentives. You also then run additionally to you're already paying people 70%. You then have your incentives board. You still have the wheel.
We've not got the wheel anymore. It's an electronic wheel.
Right. Okay.
It didn't suit the aesthetic of the office anymore. But yeah, no, we started off in the year one. It was a spinning wheel, and every single number was a different prize, and that ranged from an Apple Watch to a MacBook to flights on the Emirates. Then we changed it to a tombola because I was getting bored of the wheel.
Right.
And it was you spin the tombola, number comes out. Here's what you've won. And now it's just an electronic because our entire reception now is a giant pixelated screen, so we just put the board up there, and then you just press it on the computer. It just generates a random number. But those are fun, you know what I mean? And it's good seeing the guys on the weekend. I might just be sitting around and I get a little notification, thanks for the incentive, and someone's at some sky pool, or someone's just bought, or someone's horse riding. There's so many different things on it. I think there's 30 numbers on it, so that's on top of that as well. And then there's also
Does anyone else in Dubai do that? With the
some are trying to now, which is good.
Right.
Like that's not.
Do you think you were first?
100%.
Right. Okay.
No doubt in my mind. And it's good that people are doing it because I opened my brokerage so brokers would be treated right. So it's not like sitting here going like, oh, people are copying me. It's like, good. I'm glad we've made people realise you should look after them. Because that's why I opened the brokerage. wasn't just because I wanted to make loads of money. That's a byproduct. I opened a brokerage because I've seen people not getting treated correctly. I've seen people not being appreciated, especially when you move 5,000 miles away to work for commission only and you don't want to go to work. F that.
Big time. So people come over, and what percentage of your team have been recruited from the UK?
80%.
80%.
80%.
And what's driven that? Do you think that's you and your network and your kind of your social media? Is that what's driven that?
A lot of it's been that. Year one, it didn't work as well. Year two worked much better. Year one, we threw, as I said, a lot at the wall. Year two, it was 50-50. We had to take people on board, but at the same time, we could be a little bit more selective.
Yep.
Now, for the 20 people that I bring in per month, we probably turn down 80. Like it's and that's
Turn
the way
down
it
80
is.
as in, so you retain 20% of
No, we turned down 80 people who we've
I see.
shortlisted for the job,
Right.
and then we'll be like, sorry, we don't think you're right for us, or your skills aren't where they need to be.
Yep.
The last recruitment drive we had when I was sitting in the room, I go in with all the new guys and we have a chat, I was like, what did you used to do? Property. What did you used to do? Car sales. What did you used to do? Recruitment. Whereas what used to be was a lot of odd jobs.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that people who do odd jobs can't become good at this job. Some of my top brokers worked on the rigs, used to be dental hygienists, used to be a personal trainer. I don't care what they did, but what I'd say is the people that are coming in now, it's way more selective based on the skills that we see the best brokers having. Does that make sense?
You've got pretty intense training as well, is that right?
Yeah, so it's a week long of theory, sort of in a classroom. It's a bit boring, but this is what needs to be done because we have to set you up with the right tools. And then there's our head of training and development. You're then assigned with her for the next 3 months.
Right.
So it's literally for me to go to her and go, how are these guys performing? And for her to be like, well, this person's where this place is. This person needs this, and it has to be tailored that way.
Right, okay.
And that's just kind of a rinse and repeat method based on all the people that come in.
So that was from 8 to 180.
8 to 180.
How have you then doubled in the last year?
It's been even easier because now our reach, when I had 8 people, whenever I shared something, it was 8 people sharing it. Now, whenever we put out an incentive or whenever a big deal gets done or whenever someone's talking about, I wonder where I should go after this company. Where's my next big step? Because I want to progress my career somewhere that appreciates me. Now there's 300 people sharing it, plus the salaried staff who are, another 100-ish. So, it's... I think the reach there, if you just take that as what it is, if it's got 300 people with 1,000 followers each, which most people have more than that nowadays, every single time we post something, there's 300,000 people seeing it.
And that's driving people to you.
That's organic.
Yep. But that's driving people to come to you.
Yeah.
And
I feel like
from the UK to come and work with you in Dubai. That's a big step to be able to convince someone that the right move for them is to leave what they consider home to try the other side of the world.
Yeah, and usually not in the same industry. Most people that move to us haven't done commission only before. They're usually in some steady job, and some people take a big step back from where they are to start at the bottom of the totem pole again, knowing where they can get to.
Yep.
But what really I think is a big thing is the amount of brokers that come to me daily. Oh, my friend's seen what we're doing. He wants a job. My friend. It's not me that's recruiting majority of these people. It's a lot of referral business.
Yeah.
Like out of the 20 that we bring in, there's probably 10 of those 20 are from our actual business. And most people in the business don't want to bring in someone who's going to be terrible because they'll be embarrassed about it. So therefore they're bringing in
recommendations.
Of course,
more.
yeah.
Right.
So, it's very beneficial for us because our recruiters are amazing. I'll never forget that. But also it makes it even easier when you're a nice company, you give lots of incentives, you've got high commissions, the CEO is still around, actually knows every single person's name in the company. And
You said you're starting to struggle with that,
Yeah, I'm starting to struggle with it, but I need to keep remembering or I can't grow anymore.
But you're still on the floor every day.
Yeah.
You're still in the office every day.
Yeah.
Even though you've got all these businesses on the go.
Well, they're all in the same building, thankfully, apart from the hair
okay.
salon. They're just across the 3 floors that we've...
Jamie, you set up the recruitment, so Jamie's a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
You set up the recruitment business with Jamie. What was that, a year ago?
That was a year ago, last February, yeah.
And so they're within the same building.
Yeah,
as
same
you.
building as well.
Do you take an involvement in that business?
I do now.
Right.
Because I want to learn more about it. It's no good just, having a business and not knowing anything about it. I want to get stuck in. So, and it's very similar. All my businesses, if you look at the ones you mentioned at the start, they're all service businesses.
Yep.
I'm not a product guy. I'm not good at that. But what I'm good at is KPIs, metrics, training people on how to sell or how to deliver a good quality service. And that happens across recruitment, happens across holiday homes, happens across real estate. Even a hair salon, the KPIs are slightly different, but are they? Not really. It's more customer service based, not sales, but that's where the marketing comes in.
I take it you've not got a sales board in your
No, in the hair salon, no.
But
no
let's
sales
talk about
board.
the sales board. So
Yeah.
you run a very transparent business where everyone within the business knows what the person next to them earns.
Yeah.
how much they've earned, how many deals they're doing, how many deals they're working on. That's all on the board.
At the end of every day at 7 o'clock, every deal that's done in the business goes into the group chat that every person in the company's in. So they actually see at the end of every day, like you and your mate's group chat or whoever's group chat, instead of it being talking about stupid shite, it's actually deals.
Right.
And that happens every day, Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday, we give them a break. And then every single time a deal's done, it actually comes up on the sales board, which you cannot go 10 feet in my office without there being a sales board, which starts clapping as soon as a deal's done.
Right. And you say there's a wee video as well, like wee montage videos for each salesperson.
So whatever you like, you just go on
sorry.
YouTube, you type in what video, and you just attach it to your profile, and that'll play whenever you do a deal. So, example, we've got people pop up. It's like, I go around. And next thing you know, it's brilliant. It's fun, but
class.
Gamification. You know what I mean? Especially in a performance industry, you want people sitting going. My top performers, if they're not top of the board, it's like an itch they can't scratch. They're literally sitting like, I can see it, and I'll go right over and wind them up. You know, oh, by the way, he's got a big one to drop. I'd be worried about you now. I don't know if you'll be top of the board by the end of the. And then my managing director will walk over right after me, do the same thing. And then we'll go and laugh at him. We'll go like, did you go speak over at him? Like, but then you got other people that you have to, by the way, I know you're having a tough month, but just keep your head, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing really good. And that's a different way. You know, you need to be a bit of a social chameleon because there's different personality types.
Let's talk about the commission only aspect of it.
Yeah.
What would be your answer to someone who says, well, what about people who come over and don't perform and they're on commission only? So they're coming over, they're working, but they're not performing.
Okay. So if they don't perform, what do they deserve?
That's interesting. It's an interesting take on it, because obviously people would say, well, if they're coming over the work, like it's very different in the UK versus like what.
So in the UK, what would you say if someone wasn't performing? What do they deserve?
So there's different answers to that. I think the diplomatic answer is that someone's putting in the work. They're coming in. They're working for your business. But I know exactly what you. I know exactly.
I'm not trying to trap you with that. By the way,
I know exactly what you mean. It's interesting that is your take on it. And again, I'm not saying that there's a right or a wrong to that.
Of course.
But what would be that would be your answer to someone who says,
well, I'll be less diplomatic. There is the wrong answer for me, which would be to say that someone who's not performing deserves the same as other people. Mm-hmm. So example, in the UK, you could be not performing, sitting beside someone who is performing, both sitting on 20 grand salary, 40 grand salary, 60 grand salary, you're getting paid the same amount and you're not even performing at the level of this person. The way that my business is run is the people who perform get paid, the people who don't get training, development, help, education, until the point that they give up, and then it's a case of saying, I'm sorry, this job's not for you. Doesn't mean you need to leave real estate. Mm-hmm. You might want to go to another company, try it somewhere else, or maybe you leave real estate.
Have you had anyone leave and come back? Like
Plenty.
Leave, improve and come back?
We've had people leave, realise and come back. Mm-hmm. We've not had anyone leave, improve and come back.
Like someone who's basically, like you said,
yeah.
So what do you mean leave, realise and come back?
So example, whenever I hire brokers, I don't spend, I'm not their friend. I don't sit messaging people on Instagram being like, oh, let's go for a run and try to become their friend to try and get them to join the company.
Yep.
You know, I've had people at other companies try their hardest to get one of my brokers over. No, I promise, everything's going to change if you come here. And then I get a message 3 months later or 4 months later, Calum, made a bit of a mistake. No problem, mate, doors open. See you. And then they come back over and they just smash it like they were always doing. And it's no, business is business. And if they did what they thought was right for them, and that was one of my top performers that did that, like top performers, makes ridiculous cash. And, we shook hands, said goodbye, and then next thing you know, he's back in the business now and he's absolutely killing it. One of my associate directors.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
These people, the incentives that they're in, is there cash incentives as well?
The cash incentives would be the
additional 10%.
The additional 10%.
Yep.
Their commission is a cash incentive if you think about it. I
right.
mean, you can get a 20% pay rise in a year just by going from 50 to 70.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part is after that, where do you go? Because you either want to take a step into management, which majority of managers in real estate in Dubai will not earn more money than good brokers.
That's how that happens in sales in the UK.
But that happens sales everywhere
100%.
because you want the comfortability versus the hunting, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or the other side is when you are a associate director, like I just mentioned about that broker, he gets unlimited holidays. He's he's locked at 70%, which means he'll never lose that. And he gets to come and go as he pleases. You know what I mean? So therefore, the only thing I can now offer you more than money is freedom. So now you can listen. If you want to take the year off, no problem. Enjoy yourself.
Really? So like to that
they don't.
level,
They don't.
No.
But they could. And none of them do it because they're top performers and their name's still on the board. And just because you're now associate director, they'll still be sitting going, I'm on zero. Oh, that's the beauty of it.
One of the interesting things you said about allowing too many zeros on the board.
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't work for you to then have other people, because you could actually have 500 brokers.
Yeah.
If 200, if you're going to bring in another 200 that were on zero, they cost you any money.
No, it doesn't cost money, but what it allows us to do is drop our standards. As soon as we drop our standards and make that acceptable, then, this is what happens with brokers, and this is the natural psychology of humans is, if they're on zero and I'm on zero, it must be normal. But, wait, there's 10 people on zero and I'm on zero, so you know what, maybe the market's bad. And then that negativity spreads, and then it's, is real estate for me? And then the questions, all that, like what two things we don't allow in the office is negativity and excuses. You're negative, go home, watch some Netflix, do whatever you want, come in tomorrow, refresh. I don't care. You don't need to tell me, you don't need to tell anyone you're an adult, just go away. And if you're going to walk around the office giving excuses, I don't even care even if it's something silly, like you've turned up late today, just say sorry and get on with your work. We're adults. I don't need this, my dog ate my shoes, it's all that rubbish, It's childish.
The competition that you face in Dubai, how do you feel about the other brokers? You said to me that you now are only competing with the big guys.
Yeah.
You're not competing with anyone that's a smaller broker.
I'm not competing with anyone who's less than 10 years old.
You're not competing with anyone that's less than 10 years old. And you're what, 3 years, 3 months?
Yeah.
So you're always looking at these bigger guys.
Yes.
And what do you reckon you're 5 or 6 in Dubai at the moment?
I reckon for revenue, we're 5 or 6, yeah.
Right, okay. So how does that motivate you, the competing against other brokers?
It's interesting. It's not that it motivates me, or again, I'm a metrics guy, I'm a KPI guy. Most of the companies I've just mentioned to you have either brokers that have been way more experienced than my brokers, so the average broker age in that company is going to be twice the amount of time that my brokers have been doing it, which might mean they make twice the amount of money. Or they've got twice the amount of brokers, which might mean they make twice the amount of money. So therefore, the metric says that I'm either going to have to let my brokers just continue getting better, or I'm going to have to grow more. And if I just do both, then it'll happen even quicker. But what we need to make sure to do as we're growing, and this is where companies can fail, because right now is a very key position that we're in, it's not to lose our identity, which is still remaining broker focused, still remaining to help the brokers to appreciate them, to still try and do the best we can by them, because sometimes you end up just being a big corporate entity, and that's when we'll start losing people to another company that's going to be like me. There'll be
like
there's going to be another White & Co that pop up, and they go, White & Co's doing some smart stuff, we're going to do it. I'm not going to sit and cry about it. That's a smart thing to do. I don't know why there's not 40 of them right now. But I get that as well.
How do you maintain a culture with a business that size, and especially when it's guys who are commission only and they're there to perform? How do you then create a great culture around that?
It used to come from just me when we were smaller. Then it came from me and the management. Now it comes from me, the management, and the top performers. So you got to think, if 20% of the company are feeding into the other 80% of the company, it has to go that way. Because it does get to a point where it's too big, and it does become, can Calum make enough prods against everyone to go, remember this. But now it becomes through the culture of the company. So, if we say we've got, 50 people who are all singing from the same hymn book and keeping people motivated and keeping the idiots from doing silly things, which is like, people turn up in Dubai full of distractions, and my top performers will go over to them, by the way, this weekend I wouldn't be out getting steaming, I would maybe be in here working, because this is where you can get a leg up. And then when they hear one of the top performers talking to them, it's like the Messiah. They're looking at them going, okay, yeah. And then next week they want to tell them, by the way, when you said I was going to stay in the office, should have seen how many properties I picked up and all that sort of stuff. And all it takes is a little, well done, mate, and that's how it forms. And then you'll find a couple of years from then, that top performer and them, they're now mates. And they're working in the same team, and they're now, they've got their buddy system. Happens quite often in our industry.
And you've got your wins group on WhatsApp.
So we've got a wins chat, and we've also got a health chat.
So we're trying to talk about both.
Yeah, of course. So we're trying to create more than just a workplace, because real estate in Dubai never stops. I know in the UK it's like, when I should be able to switch off at 6 o'clock. Cool, don't come work at White & Co. All right, because there is no switch off time. You want to earn the money that some of these guys are earning? Come work here. You want to switch off? Go work at ABC Real Estate. We don't know. We don't care. So what we need to do there is make sure that there's other things. It doesn't revolve just around going out and get drunk, because that's what a big culture is out there.
And it's, I think, company culture is how do we fix company culture? We'll throw some money at going out and getting drunk, or we'll throw some money at nights out, we'll throw some money at whatever that would be. And there is, especially, I don't know I've spent a wee bit of time in Dubai, but no one needs as much time as you. But like the culture here is, well, we'll go out with the team, we'll have a few drinks. So, but you're trying to do that differently.
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing that as well. But this is the thing, is what about for the people that, it's quite a big thing right now, where everyone in Dubai or everyone in Scotland as well seem to be doing high Roxys. Or they seem to be wanting to do Pilates, or they seem to be... So every morning we wake up in this health chat, So the company has this amount of people. There's about 150 that are in the health chat. You can choose if you want to be in it or not.
Yep.
But you'll wake up in the morning, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and it's everyone sending in their Whoops and their Apple Watches and what they've done this morning. Or a girl sending in a booty workout for all the other girls. Or, one of the boys, us sending in silly photos of one of the boys at the gym and, things like that. And it's fun and it's good and it's a different side which isn't just the going out and getting drunk.
Did you not have a Q1 incentive for most calories burned in the quarter?
Yeah, and one of the guys in my office absolutely just demolished it, Rishan. So yeah, he just never stops.
So he won 30,000 dirhams?
No, he didn't, because not enough people took part. He won probably around about 10,000 dirhams, about $2,000.
Okay.
About $2,000. So for every person that took part, there was an extra 500 dirhams.
Right, okay, cool.
So there was only like 20 odd people that took part, but still, it was something. And then we've got the wins chat.
But you're trying to incentivise people.
Oh, 100%.
So this is one of the questions I was going to ask you. When you're trying to incentivise people to look after their health, is that to increase their productivity, to make them perform better, to make them healthier, better for you? Is that an investment for you, or is it just what you're interested in?
No, it's definitely. It's the selfish part is it usually makes people perform better in the office. It makes people happier. And that's the biggest one. It's, a lot of people move over there and you don't know what their support system's like outside the office. You don't know if they've got friends. You don't know who they know back home. You don't know if mum and dad are still there or whatever it would be. But what they can do is they can go along a boot camp with their mates. They can go and play paddle with the boys or girls. They can go horse riding. They go whatever they want. And they just put it in there and just go, hey guys, I'm thinking about doing this weekend. Anyone up for it? Few thumbs up, go in there and that's it done. And that's, a lot of the group chats that we've got are actually locked so only management can talk. That's one where it's just constant free-flowing chat, and I don't mind it because usually it is about health and wellness and that. And then that leads me on to the other chat that we've got, which is the wins chat. So every single day, me and all the management, we've got an alarm for 12 o'clock and an alarm for 5 o'clock.
Yep.
And every day at 12 o'clock, I'll go right into the leadership chat and I'll go, guys, need a win for today. And then someone will put something good that's happened in one of their departments in. Now, that could be someone's just bought their first car. That could be someone's just bought their first business class flights. Could be someone's just done their first deal. Could be someone's just done their biggest deal ever. And there's no good ones, there's no bad ones, it's just whatever they think. Because when we first launched that, first thing I said was, nah, we're not doing that. I'm not celebrating mediocrity. That's what I thought. Why are we celebrating someone's first deal? That's what they should be doing anyway. And then I sat down and someone said to me, they went, you know what, it's free. It doesn't hurt anyone. Nothing bad's going to come from it. And it might be what makes that person excited to come to work tomorrow or the day after. And now seeing us doing that for like the past year, which it takes effort to do, by the way, you have to remember to do that every single day. And some days I'm in there going to leadership chat because they're all busy. I'm going, I need some wins today. And they'll send them in. And so one guy in the office is just like, posted it the other day. It was just one of the wins in the chat because he'd done like a lot of deals and he was just like, this is the difference. And I saw that and I was just like, I put them on Instagram and I was like, when people ask what White and Co are all about, like that's it. That is what we're all about.
Yep.
And I think that culture is very hard to fake. If I was doing this all just to make it look good for Instagram and all that, I'd soon get bored. I make enough money. I'd soon get bored. But I do this because I love it. Like I love seeing these. I used to like doing deals. Now I like watching people change their lives. We've got someone that joined us recently, 55, 56-year-old or something. She made her biggest paycheck ever in her life in her first month at real estate. From Edinburgh. Biggest paycheck she ever made, it was £9,000. That's her biggest paycheck that she ever made working at the company, first month.
And so first month, £9,000. Is that's not like unheard of at White and Co?
Oh no, that's standard.
Normal.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But for her, but now when she's done that, it wasn't me going, oh yeah, well, it was well done, and it was like, right, how are we getting another one? And then it's the next one, because now if she can do £9,000 in her first month, what can we get her doing in month 3, month 5, month 10? And maybe that was a lucky deal, okay? Maybe it's just the first one that's happened. But now we go, right, what did you do to create that deal? Yeah. I did this, right, okay, so we need to do that twice.
Replicate that behaviour, do it again. Brilliant. You have recently taken on some of the kind of top talent in Dubai. Yeah. Was that a conscious, because I seen that there was like 2, 3, 4 appointments, one after the last.
Yeah.
Big ticket hires within the business. Yeah. Was that a strategy? Did you go, actually, we're going to go out and we're going to spend some money on bringing in some really top senior people? Or was that just, had those people come to you?
The first one that approached me, approached us and said, I want to work there and here's what I want to do. And at that point, I was like, oh, we're getting there, we're something special now. Because that person was leaving business.
That leads on to the next question.
That person was leaving.
How does that feel? When the people who were the industry leaders, when you went to Dubai, come to you and say, I'm ready to come work for you?
It makes sense. It makes sense, but I'm humble about it because I know that it doesn't make sense not to come and work for us. That's the part that I don't get. Any broker in Dubai who doesn't come work for us, I'm like, why not? And it's
Have
not
you
like
ever asked them? Have you ever actually sat
the only
with-
reason you'll ever get from a broker that doesn't join us is, I think that team's a bit big for me, or they want to work in all different areas. So our brokers are area specific.
What about people who say it's unsustainable? Because I've seen you address that point before.
Well-
when people say, "Oh no, that model is unsustainable. Paying 70% is unsustainable. Doing massive incentives like that is unsustainable."
Yeah, I think in year one it was fine to do it and say, White and Co will be closed in a year, but now we're coming in, we'll be at our 4th year next year. So I think now it can't be argued with, and if anyone wants to go, I'm sure Jack will put a little link to it, but on my Instagram there's a video that explains every penny that goes into owning and running a real estate company.
I definitely will, and I was going to ask you about it. So you published a video on your LinkedIn that goes into every single, this is how much it costs me to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. And you were quite open about the fact that this is going to throw a cat amongst the pigeons. This is going to like potentially cause a bit of a ripple in the market.
Yeah.
Did it cause a ripple in the market? How do you think it was received by people? And I will put a link in the comments below if anybody wants to go on and watch that video. It's a brilliant video. It's really informative.
Yeah, it's a bit boring.
You describe it at the start as this might be the most important video you watch in your real estate career.
Yeah. I think it's just, first of all, I don't think anyone ever gets angry at too much information and too much transparency. Our business has been built on transparency right from the start. I'm always transparent with everything that we do, and it's not like a document at all, like some sort of camera thing, but I'm just saying, like, I'll always be honest about what we're doing.
Yep.
And I think that even when I started in Dubai real estate, people used to I remember directors of the company I was working at just lying to me straight to my face about, you cost this and this is how much we spend on this. And now that I'm in the position of where I have it all, I sit going like, no, you weren't. And these companies are now, a tenth the size of where we are. And that's the companies that I worked at when I first joined in Dubai. And the reason is because there's no transparency. They're too busy trying to trick people and confuse people and all that, instead of just being honest with the brokers. And
so like hidden fees is one of the things that a lot
well, that's one of the things. But I mean, like, even like I put that video out, I could have came in the next day and every broker in the company could have been like, if you make that much, why don't you pay us more? That's what could have happened. But I think the guys are in there with me and they see I'm not some flashy idiot. I'm in there trying to build a business.
Yep.
And at the same time, the only cat that was amongst the pigeons would have been from, unfortunately, certain companies that can't change anything. There was nothing from any brokers. Every broker loved it. I mean, no broker sitting there going, it wasn't very good to learn exactly how much it costs to run a real estate agency.
The detail in there, you went down to mentioning the fact that you make 1.5 million dirhams profit per month.
Yeah.
And your team were all really supportive of that. They clapped that. They're more than happy to see that.
Of course, and this is the thing. Management said, like, what if it's not received? I don't care if it's not received well. Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Like, everyone knows what I'm doing. Like, it's not hidden. The board's there as well. Like, at the end of every single month, we stand up. We go, this is what we build this month. They obviously know I'm going to make some level of money, but I'll tell you what, the 3.5 million dirham overheads, not including commission that I pay every month, they're on me. So they're not on any of the brokers. Brokers get to walk away with 70%. Bye-bye, see you later, Calum. I'll wait to buy whatever car I want, do whatever I want. And that's not their fault. If they want to go and open a business, I'll be the first person to sit there and go, let me tell you how to do it.
Really? Have you had that?
I've had one broker who should have went and opened a business because they've been doing it long enough. And then I've had a couple of people try and dabble in it that just haven't got there yet, but they're still open.
You're supportive to that. If someone's worked for you for a couple
I went
of years.
and did it.
Right?
You know what I mean? Can't go and do it myself and then be like, no one should do it. But the point is if you do go and open a new business now, how do you compete with us? You need to start with 70%. You need to start with taking a big office. It needs to start that way. And anyone that says like, I just want a boutique company. Give me a break.
You mentioned poisonous agents. You've had a few people who've come in to the team that don't gel well with the team.
No, I've had a few people that wanted to join the company.
Right.
And then we've said no to them.
Right.
And that would have been an easy money in my pocket.
Aye. So they would have come in and it would have been instant cash on the board, instant cash in your pocket, but you didn't think they were a right fit to the team.
No, and that's the thing, is it more important keeping 300 odd people happy, or is it more important making an extra buck here and there? And I think that what we've managed to do, one big thing about us is we all sing by the same hymn book. There's no favoritism, or we try to avoid it at all costs. And then on top of that, we do avoid poisonous brokers, because Dubai real estate is so small. Someone comes in and they tell me like, I want to join you. Why did they leave your company? They got sacked because they were out steaming every single night. Great. By the way, I just don't think you're right for us. See you later. All the best.
Easy peasy. So I've got a business mentor pal of mine, Jason Healy. He was the founder of Blue E-Cigs. and he was talking about he would go in and he'd go, that person's not right for this team, and he'd say to his HR department, like, we need to get rid of that person. They're like, right, we're going to put this in place, and he'd be like, no, like, sack them that day. They're like, you can't do that. They can't do that. It's going to cost us a fortune. They're going to take us to court. They're going to fine us. It's going to cost us a fortune. And his words were, that is going to cost me far less than keeping them in this business for the next 5 months while we get rid of them. He's like, whatever they're going to then take me for is going to cost us less than the damage that they're going to do. And the analogy he gave me, he said, if you got a patch of skin cancer, he's like, you wouldn't go, right, oh shit, I've got a bit of
Give it
skin
a chance.
cancer here. Aye, let's give me a shout when it gets to my brain. He's like, you go, right, I need to get rid of that now. Like, 100%. We cut that off and get shot at that. So that was the kind of the analogy he gave when he was talking about people. And like, it's exactly as you describe it, poisoning the rest of the team.
100%. Yeah. Agreed.
Where are we? Social media. People in Dubai always look like things are great. You constantly compare Dubai with Edinburgh. How conscious
and I'll never stop.
All right, good. How conscious is that when you're saying, oh, the weather's shite in Edinburgh and it's roasting here, or this is here and that? Like, is that a recruitment tactic, or is that actually how you? I think I know how you feel about it, but for people who are in Edinburgh that then see that, or people who are in anywhere in the UK that then see that,
I think a few years ago, the information you get on Dubai was from the Sun newspaper. And it led to, is it really that good? But I think right now, every single person has 3 or 4 friends that go to Dubai every year and they go, oh, it is fantastic. Now, that's Dubai as a place. Then you've got my side, which is, okay, it's tax-free. It's the second lowest crime rate in the world. It's sunny all year round. Oh, but it gets a bit hot, does it not? Yeah, but I won't be thinking about that when I used to walk from the number 8 bus stop to office in crunchy frost. You know what I mean? I don't care about being too hot. It's not a thing. For children and for people growing up over there, I'll tell you what, if you had a child that was 8 years old, you wouldn't just send it out with 20 quid and just say, enjoy the day. You could do that in Dubai. The malls over there, the shopping, everything. It's a different level.
You're a huge advocate of that.
Huge advocate. And it makes it hard because when I do come back, I cannot help judging everything here. I look at what tax is paid.
You done it last night.
I'll do it.
Put up a video at Edinburgh Castle and was like, oh, here's the castle, guys. I've saved you a trip. I was like, there's a bit more to Edinburgh than that.
What is there? What's more?
No, so I think that there's a bit of a perception of, well, you can't be happy here.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many people who've got a great life here, who love it here, who love their work here, who love their life here. And like, with all due respect, like, your life looks great.
I think the problem is if someoone's happy, they're happy.
That's it. That's what I'm trying to say.
The message that I'm putting there isn't for the happy people.
No, I know.
The message
so
that I'm
that's what
putting there.
That's what I'm going to say to you. So is it a case of, let's get the people who are not happy, get them over here and get them
Let me change their lives.
working.
Let's do it. And if you don't like real estate, do something else. It's not even stay at White & Co. It's not even come to real estate. It's get out of the UK. Because I'll tell you what, the tax that you pay, what age are you?
33.
33. Has anything improved since you started paying tax?
Started paying less tax recently.
Shh, they'll come after you.
You mentioned distractions in Dubai and people who Dubai wasn't for me.
Yeah.
You talk about a bit about that.
I talk about that a lot. So first thing that people ask me when I go into the new starters, so Calum, like what makes agents fail out here? And now within 9 years of me being there, the amount of people I've seen fail that could have been good, that like I knew they could have been good. Like in here, I'm certain they could have been because they were too interested in going on dates, too interested in trying to impress people by buying magnums of Ciroc.
People back home or impress people in Dubai?
Back home. It's usually back home. But then again, when you've just moved there, no one knows what you've really got.
That's it.
So are they also impressing those people? But the point is no one cares when you're back home with your tail between your legs 3 months later. And it's trying to get people who work for us out of this mindset that what's cooler? Being out at surf club every weekend or whatever bar or club you're at buying drinks and so on, or owning 10 houses by the time you're 30? Owning 20 houses that's what's cool. And trying to get people to understand that. Now, when people eventually get into sales, we've got a financial advisor now comes into the business and they're now, for all the people that are making loads of cash, we're now putting plans in place for them. Because I don't want to see people just blow their cash. I'm seeing people pay off their mum and dad's mortgages. I'm seeing people buy 3-4 houses every couple of months. And I want to see more and more people do that. So, coming back to what you said, distractions, it's just all this going out, getting drunk. But Dubai, it's so easy to do. It's like 100 quid and you can go out and get steaming for 4 hours, all you can eat, all you can drink. And that happens Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, every day. You can go somewhere and do that every day. It's tough.
So people get distracted by that.
They need to come over and it's like living like a monk for the first 6 months.
You mentioned property investment. You're doing a bit of property investment.
Yeah, I work with Cox & Co.
Cox & Co.
Yeah, I was down there. I was down there yesterday. Yeah, John sorts me out with everything. He sources the properties, looks after them, does everything for me really. And we were just down there, putting more plans in place for this year.
Amazing. Big shout out for Cox & Co.
Yeah.
What's gone wrong over the last 3.5 years? What's been is there one that goes that was the biggest mistake we made?
Right. So revenue wise, there's been 1 month where it didn't go well, but that's not actually that much to talk about. It just happens.
You said that. I heard you saying that on another podcast when I was doing a bit of research for this. But it was just that you didn't hit your target.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you said, we had 1 month that didn't go right, but it's not like you lost fortunes or like anything went drastically wrong. Or did you?
No, that was the first time it happened. So it was like
it's interesting.
Heart breaking
my
my
mindset.
heart. You know what I mean? Like seeing that, and then that's not really something that I want to talk about as in something went wrong. That's just something I wanted to say to you. But the biggest thing I had wrong, year one, I couldn't let go of anything. I cannot. Even now, I'm still a control freak. Even now, like right now, I can feel my phone vibrate in my pocket, and I'm thinking, who's messaging me? What's it about? It's like an itch you can't scratch. But now I have trusted people in the business who I really do trust to deal with things. And now that people's joined the business more recently, more senior members of staff, they actually say to me as a CEO, how has this got to you? Like, how is this person speaking to you about this? What a stupid thing to bring to the CEO. But I love it. So I'd say like letting go of things has been really tough. So delegation, now I've got heads of every department and every business has someone heading it up. So now if I wanted to just decide not to go back to work for another month, I can do that.
If you'd done that,
Yeah.
what? So I asked David
The place would
Wither,
burn down. The place would burn down.
No, but genuinely, I asked David Wither this same question.
Yeah.
So David Wither, owner of
Yep.
Montpellier Group,
yeah.
I said to him, what would happen if you just left the business out for the next 6 months and came back in 6 months' time? What impact would that have? And he said, I reckon that, I reckon I squeezed the extra 5%. He's like, so I think that we would still be doing 95%. One of his team that was in the room said that it was more like 80%, and he squeezes the extra 20%.
I feel like I'd be taking a lot away from a management team if I thought that was 80% of what is us. But I'd say already, just from us, we're going through a renovation just now, and I'm sitting in a different room, and I know that people have said to other people, the business just feels a bit different without Calum here just now. I'm sitting 30 feet away in a different room, and they are saying things like that. So first of all, that was my biggest
Do you think
issue.
that you energise the room?
I think White
I
and Co's built...
listened to a podcast, a guy who worked for Social Chain when Stephen Bartlett runs Social Chain, and he said that the minute you walked in the door in the morning, you knew without looking around the room, you knew if he was in the building because of the energy levels in the building. So do you think that you impact the energy level on the floor?
I think it's a culture. The energy levels culture. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and that's something that I'm dead scared of losing. Like that's why I don't like taking too much time off, because you spend a month not there, and suddenly a few people decide not to sing by the same hymn book and decide to just make some changes that are not what we do, even though everything should be run by me. It doesn't need to be. So I'm really scared of us losing the culture that we've got. And other than that, I used to be dreadful to people about if someone was on zero and I didn't see them like in the office on the weekend and things like that, I'd be like, what is wrong with you? You've moved to Dubai, you've moved your entire life here, you've got nothing, you've no money you're made, and you're out on the weekend. And I'd go off my head about it, and there'd be like 10 people standing there, they'd come out to the meeting, they'd be like, I just feel like I'm always getting shouted. Now I realise that just let them do what they want to do, because they're going to do it anyway, and they'll be phased out the business. Because you can't last, if you're commission only, you're only going to last 3 to 6 months of earning no money anyway, and then you're going to leave the business anyway. So it's no good me coming in, blowing my top every single meeting there is. I used to do this first 6 months of the company being open. If someone wasn't billing or new people were, it was new brokers as well. That's what was bothering me. I was like, you've just moved to Dubai, you've got this opportunity. And I'd be blowing my head, I'd be in this meeting, because I used to go through everyone's stats on the board when we were smaller. And I'd be like, zero, were you in on the week? You weren't in on the weekend, because I was in on the weekend. And you did it, and I'd go off my head. And then now I realise that was a big thing that now, especially with my new leaders in the business as well, I go, stop worrying about it.
So that's as a culture in the UK. I think there'll be people watching this that are going,
Yeah.
oh, that's not right. That's
100%.
not right. Saying that they should be working the weekends because they've no build anything. That isn't morally right.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people? People who think that's not morally right.
It's high performance sales. It's not sit and collect your salary, customer service. Stay where you are, White & Co's not right for you. if you support a football team and that player isn't scoring goals and you love them, or whoever's watching this, whatever sport they like, and they're at the top of their game, the top, and they were dreadful, but you heard they hadn't been going to training and they weren't really putting in the effort and they're getting paid all this money and whatever else, what would you say?
And you said also when we were talking about the transparency between like sharing what each person's earning every day, you can look up at the board and see how much
100%.
that person's earning. And you said that if it was a football player that said, "Oh, don't show anyone my goals."
No, of course. Like it's mental to me that people are scared of people knowing what you're earning, but that's because you're not confident. My guys are salespeople that are confident. Like whoever's top of the board wants to be number one, and they will get there. Sometimes they come through to me and they go, "Calum, whoever's at the top, I promise you by the end of this month, I will be above them." Happens all the time. And then the next person comes in and I go, he just said that as well. You got to beat him. And then I set this wee competition up.
We used to have when I worked in sales at Bauer Media, we had a league table that came out, but it was done on percentage of your target, because it might be somebody who's got a 100 grand target, somebody who's got a 40 grand target. So it was done on your percentage of target. So when I first came into the business, my target was a lot lower and I massively outperformed it. So I was like top of that league, get like 140% of my target. Following year, my target had went up. I was like mid-table. When I was top of the league, it was the best thing ever. When I was mid-table, it was a lot of shit.
Definitely.
I'm
Definitely.
not having
But
that.
this is the thing. It's like I said, is anyone that thinks that that's wrong or whatever, it's cool. But that person, if they wanted to change their life, whatever their motivation was, they're not going to achieve it not working hard. Whoever's heard me say this, how bad do you want it? Why did you move to Dubai? You moved to Dubai to go to the beach clubs because you've not earned any money. You moved to Dubai to go on dates because you've not earned any money. Or did you come here to change your life? You know what I mean? That's the question. Like, because that's my question to them. If I was to pull them in by themselves, what did you move here for? Oh, I really want to change my life. Well, you obviously don't.
What was the hardest day? Has there been any? It looks from the outside in, but there's not.
Oh, it will have been a hard day, but I'm trying to think what it might have been. When I had to say goodbye to one of our, at the start I didn't like getting rid of people or firing people because it's an awkward conversation.
Wait a minute. At the start, you didn't like getting rid of or firing people. You don't like getting rid of firing people now, do you?
No, I don't shy away from it anymore.
Right.
I used to want my managing director, who, by the way, that's his job, but I find there's a respect thing if someone's working with me for a long time that I should go in and have the conversation with them. So there was a conversation that I had with one of the leadership team, and we sat down for about 15 minutes, and me and my director was there, and I went through it all. And even within that sort of 15 minutes, at the end of the conversation, she still didn't realize that it was saying goodbye. So I had to like start the conversation again. But then she was really upset. She was really sad about it. And I don't really care usually when people are a bit upset. Like there's no crying in business. I'm sorry. But it was just one of those where I was like, I felt really bad. So if that's the worst thing of all the time of it being open, that's what I would say is the worst day of it.
Do you consider yourself to be a ruthless leader?
Nah, I wouldn't say so. Definitely not. I just know what needs to be done and I will get it done, but it depends on what we need to tailor it to. I could be ruthless, but listen to my voice, I don't sound very ruthless. I'd like to think I'm quite a nice guy, and that's why we've grown at the rate we've grown, not because I'm some ruthless leader. You don't need to do that in business. There's enough.
You're paying people well, but do you think you're ruthless? You're ruthless in the way that you manage them and the way that you run your business?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You are Dubai for life.
Forever.
You're going to live in Dubai for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Never come back to the UK.
Nope.
Never come back to the Inch.
No, not to the Inch.
If someone's listening and they are fed up of their life in Edinburgh, what would you say to that person? They're sales motivated. They sound like
the candidates.
Yep. They sound like actually that sounds like it's for me. What would you say to that person?
If they want to be in property and they want to go to Dubai, to reach out to 3 or 4 companies out there, the good ones, the ones that look like they've stood the test of time, or the ones that you see and you're like, I want to work there. And find out what they all offer and speak to them and, get to work out where you'd suit. If it's a company that says, yeah, your weekends are for you, maybe that's where you want to be. If it's a company that says like you're going to be working your arse off for the first 6 months, maybe that's us. But the point is, do your due diligence, because you're going to make a huge move, have about £10,000 saved, and no plan Bs. Don't go over there going, well, if it doesn't work out, I can always just come back to working at wherever it would be. It needs to be no plan Bs. And that's what I'd say. Yeah.
Brilliant. Where can people reach you?
Instagram, it's Calum White CEO, and other than that, don't email me. Yeah,
we were talking about this. You're on your whole business on WhatsApp.
Everything on WhatsApp. Everything gets done on WhatsApp, because anything that's important, they know to WhatsApp me.
Is it worth following you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn.
Yep.
LinkedIn's good. I share almost everything from Instagram straight to LinkedIn, and you get you get a lot of visibility on what we do at the business in there. And yeah, but that's everything there for me.
Brilliant. Callum, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks so much.
Really
Jack.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much for tuning into the Business Playbook and getting involved. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you consume the podcast. Hit the subscribe button. And if you got a bit of value from this, please share it with someone else. And hopefully we'll see you on the next Business Playbook.